Hi, I'm Jose Marquez, and I'm the president of Latinos in Information Sciences and Technology Association. And today we're sitting down with some of the great leaders of GALEO and hearing some of their information that they're going to be sharing with us. So please sit back, relax, and listen, because you will be surely amazed.
Good morning, everybody. On behalf of GALEO and the GALEO Board of Directors, I'd like to welcome you to the 10th Annual GALEO Power Breakfast. We are delighted to have you all here with us this Friday morning. We have a great program prepared for you, and I am absolutely convinced that you are going to enjoy it. So I was talking this morning with some people that I was a little nervous because I get self-conscious when I speak in English. And the encouragement that I receive is that to the GALEO Power Breakfast, they need someone with an accent to be legitimate. It is a requirement. So I would like to start by thanking and recognizing our sponsors for their generous support in this event. As a gold sponsor, we have Western Union. Thank you, Western Union. As a silver sponsor, silver sponsors are the Coca-Cola Company, Cox Enterprises, Georgia Power, Cook Immigration Partners, Telemundo Atlanta, and my dear home, Univision 34 Atlanta. As a bronze sponsor, we have Amerimex Communications Corporation, Briarcliff Pediatrics, Del Campo Weber and Grayson, McGuire Woods LLP, and Terry Jackson PC. At the leadership level, we have Road to Recovery Incorporated, Rohanlo PC, and at the Amigos level, BB&T, Georgia State Representative Pat Gardner, Georgia State Senator Nan Orup, and Makina Long and Aldrich LLP.
Welcome to the 10th Annual Power Breakfast. These 10 years have been exciting years for GALEO, and we are really blessed to have done what we have done, but we can't do what we do without you. Any organization like GALEO relies on not only people who are willing to do the hard work, the volunteers, but also the corporate sponsors, the folks who are willing to put their money where their mouth is, to really affect change in what it is that we do. You've heard some of the things that GALEO has done. I know Jerry is going to come up here and tell you a little more, so I will not bore you with my recitation of all the wonderful things that GALEO has done. But I really just wanted to say thank you. I wanted to say welcome, and I wanted to tell you that exciting things are happening. The Latino community is growing by leaps and bounds in the state of Georgia. And if we get some comprehensive immigration reform in the next year or so, I think there's going to be more and more changes. As we have seen, the Latino voting strength continues to grow. Statistics that were just given, go from 10,000 to 150,000 registered voters is very, very significant in the election cycle. We're going to continue working on that to get the people engaged, because obviously there's no civic engagement, there's no change. And I believe our organization is poised to do that and do that well. So thank you for your support. Thank you for your work. And I wanted just to recognize Jerry Gonzalez, who's been with us from the beginning, 10 years.
Thank you, Tony. I want to thank great leadership that we do have from our board chairman, Tony Del Campo, former judge Tony Del Campo. We definitely do appreciate his great leadership. I want to thank the leadership that is provided to us by the board of directors, but also I can't go without mentioning the GALEO Leadership Council, even more so in the army of volunteers that we have. It truly is an army. And the reason I'm able to do what I am able to do is only because we have passionate, dedicated volunteers that help facilitate the ability for me to be able to do the things that we do. Without our volunteers and our dedicated members that we have with GALEO that are very passionate about our mission and our vision, this would not be possible. So I want to thank the volunteers and our board of directors for all the work that they do, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing as well. So thank you all for that. I also want to give special thanks, of course, to our sponsors, and you heard our sponsors, but clearly without the financial support, the individuals, businesses, and corporations that we have, as well as the foundations that support GALEO, we would not be able to do the things that we do. So I want to thank our financial contributors for that as well. I do want to begin by saying that there has truly been tremendous progress being made in Georgia. It may not feel like it because of all of the bad stuff that we've heard coming from the Georgia legislature. All of the anti-immigrant bills being signed into law year after year. But truly, we have really seen tremendous progress in the Latino community being made, and it's going to be felt. One example, the vote. The Latino vote is growing year after year. You heard the statistics earlier, 10,000 in 2003 when we started. In 2008, we did an analysis, there were 150,000. That's tremendous growth in 6 years. Tremendous growth in 6 years. Not only that, Latino voters in Georgia outperformed the national Latino voter participation rate. Where in other places it's lagging, Georgia is performing. And that's something that we can be very proud of here, and that's what was done with the study in 2008. We are crunching the numbers for 2012, of course, with the partnership with GALEO, as well as with the University of Georgia's Political Science Department. We are crunching the numbers to look at the growth of the Latino electorate from 2008 to 2012, but also look at the performance. And we're going to break it down by legislative district. We're going to break it down in the City Council of Gainesville. We're going to break it down by congressional district. And we're going to use that information to push for policies that reflect respect for our community. Latino voters are engaged. Latino voters are paying attention. And it's time that the Latino voters do get the respect by the policymakers as well.
In that time in Augusta, Georgia, things were very different than they are today. In Georgia, there were no Latino elected officials. In Georgia, there were very few Latino leaders. We didn't have what we have today in Latino voting. It was a very different place for Latinos in 1981. Actually, the first day I showed up to school, when I didn't speak English in Augusta, Georgia, I saw the name of my school. The name of the school was Martinez Elementary. And I said, surely there is someone here who speaks my language. As soon as I walked in, I said, thank you for allowing me to come to Martinez Elementary. And they said, Martinez Elementary? Martinez Elementary? They quickly corrected me on my pronunciation. So I hope that before I die here in Georgia, we can go back to calling it Martinez Elementary. Now fast forward 30 where we are today with the help and the efforts of you and the helps and efforts of Jerry and GALEO and organizations like GALEO and our partnership that we've made with the Asian community and the African American community. We live in a very different world today. And as Jerry said, it may not always feel like we've made progress, but you have to think about it. We have made a tremendous amount of progress, and we must remain optimistic that that progress is only going to continue. Right now, we have Latinos serving in our state legislature. 10 years ago, that's the first time that ever happened. We still have Latinos there today. We have Latinos sitting on our courts. Well, a Latino sitting on our courts. We're working on that number as well. We have Latinos sitting on city councils and running for city council. And last year, for the first time, Georgia had 12 Latino candidates on ballots throughout our states. 12. So not only are we voting more, not only are we getting registered, not only are we getting more civically engaged, but now we're taking that next level. We have candidates here today who are proof positive that Latinos are stepping up and running for offices all throughout this state. And that is a trend that is not going to be reversed. As long as Galeo's around, as long as Jerry's around, as long as you keep supporting us, we're going to make sure that we keep training our leaders, that we keep working not only for the benefit of Latinos, but the benefit of all Georgians. Because Galeo is part of Georgia. We have a vested interest in the progress of the state, and we don't only fight for one community, we fight for all Georgians, so we all have a better life here in the state. So I thank Jerry and Galeo and all of you for being
I have been to 45 of the 50 states in the U.S. I have seen local organizations here and there, but I will tell you that there is no other state organization like GALEO in the United States. And you need to recognize what an incredible asset you have in GALEO. Because I can tell you that Alabama wishes that they could have a GALEO. South Carolina wishes that they could have a GALEO. I can tell you that even some states, Arizona, amazingly, there's no GALEO equivalent that exists. But yet here you are, 10 years later, and that is why it is so important. And I will tell you that my hope is when that museum opens up, and my hope is that with your help that we will make that a reality, that the history of GALEO and how GALEO, despite all of the challenges from some of the people that are on the extreme on the issues of immigration and voting rights and civil rights and immigrant rights, that GALEO said, we are still moving forward, we're standing up, and that will be part of the history so that our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren will learn about how GALEO was an integral part of the immigrant rights, civil rights, and voting rights, and also civic participation movement. And so, those are some things that are absolutely critical. We all have the same challenges of reminding America that we are Americans too, and that we are here for this. This is our land, this is our country, and that together we are going to come together. And so this is where GALEO is such a critical component to the civil rights, to the immigrant rights, to the voting rights movement here in the state of Georgia. Because when you have laws like HB 87, where I was happy that a judge threw out the portion of the bill that says that, if you're going to church and you're bringing an undocumented immigrant with you, that you could get you can get arrested. But unfortunately, we still have to fight to stop the show your papers provision, because that is a provision that to me is a rollback of Jim Crow related laws and let me say, and I'm gonna say, because people I always get this question, why should other communities care about a law like that? Well, look at me for example. If someone were to say, we should start profiling Dominican Americans. Now 90% of Dominicans are black. So you have to say to yourself, in order to find out who are the undocumented Dominicans, we need to start asking African Americans to show me your papers. And thank you to Jared, for your leadership, not only in Georgia but around the country. And so I will tell you that, I am always happy to be back. And when you're ready to march, I'm going to march with you. When you're ready to rally, I will rally with you. And when the day comes when we can open the doors of a brand new Smithsonian American Latino Museum, that the history of Galeo will be captured. And so I want to let you know that we are here with you. So, así que muchísimas gracias. Que Dios le bendiga a todos ustedes. Sigue adelante, mi gente. Estamos aquí con ustedes. Estamos juntos. So, with that, muchísimas gracias. Muchísimas gracias. Dios te bendiga. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Jose Marquez, and I'm president of Latinos in Information Sciences and Technology Association. And I am so blessed to be around some great people throughout my career, and one of them has been one of my good friends, and I have a chance to meet with him here in Atlanta at the GALEO Power Breakfast, Sid Wilson. Sid, what's going on, my friend?
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Great to be here. Great to be here in Atlanta. Great to be here in the land of Jose Marquez. So,
well, it's far from it, but we're working on that.
Yeah.
But let's get down to the nitty gritty. Talk to us a little bit about what happened here at the GALEO lunch, at the GALEO breakfast, and let's talk a little bit about the National Museum on that great mall that we have in Washington D.C.
Absolutely. For me, it was a great privilege to be here and talk about this historic project, the National Museum of the American Latino. This is the largest Latino legacy project in U.S. history. There's never been anything of this magnitude before. But the key about this museum is understanding that our Latino history is an American history. And that is a history that must be captured, that must be recognized, that must be celebrated. And so these are among the initiatives that we must do to capture and to illuminate the American story, the story of Latinos here in the United States that have been around since the colonial days, where we participate in virtually every single war on behalf of the United States, and even during the colonial days. But it's also a message of understanding where we came from to know where we're going, and understanding the histories of the challenges that we've had in our community, discriminatory challenges, the challenges of integrating here in the United States, the challenges, many of the obstacles that we faced, and what were some of the solutions back then, and what are some of the solutions that we can do going forward, because unfortunately, we are seeing in these last couple of years that you're seeing some of what I call this immigrant backlash from some of the extreme wings of certain groups, and we need to remind them that number one, we are here. Number one, this is our country too. Number two, three, we are Americans too, and we are a nation of immigrants. And and I want to be sure that people saw that we are a community that is going to make sure that we stand up, we rise up, we march, we rally, that we must continue to do that, because that has been the history of our community, and that's part of why it's so important to have a Smithsonian National Museum of the American Latino.
One of the things that's really, really interesting that a lot of people may not know is that the Constitution of the United States in 1779 was translated to Spanish because there were so many Latinos in the United States, so they could understand how to be part of the Union. So I really hope that that piece of paper is still around, and that we can actually see it at the museum. But so many other articles that are going to be there. Just give us a couple. Is there going to be something there for like Cesar Chavez and our Hector Barreto's father, or there's so many great leaders in our community that are very, very quiet.
I will tell you that such a museum, which we still have to get Congress to vote yes to authorize the creation. And that's where organizations like GALEO is going to be so important to making sure that our Georgia members of Congress and the 2 Georgia senators are supportive of a museum, because this is part of our American history, so that we can capture, stories of like that Latino involvement in terms of the creation of the Constitution. Why it was so important that the 14th Amendment of the Constitution has birthrights, citizenship, and because it wasn't just because of what happened of making sure that African Americans have citizenship. It was also understanding that immigrants, children of immigrants who are born here, should automatically be given citizenship. And you look at the history of Latino involvement in the Civil War, in the War of 1812, the American Revolution, World War I, World War II, the Korean, every single war that we've done. But that's just the military side. Then you have the economic side. Latinos who have been critical to creating companies that are household names today, and and Latinos who are inventors, Latinos who are astronauts, Latinos who are doing all these amazing things that need to be captured and illuminated as part of a story.
Well, let's talk about amazing. Talk
Yes.
about your amazing career. 40 under 40 of Forbes magazine, one of the top financial planners or financial brokers in New York City. Tell us a little bit about that, because I know where you're from,
Yes.
and we're from each
Yes.
other's blocks,
That's right,
so
yes.
we know each other. Tell us how you got from point A to point B, from Washington House, from Washington D.C., or from Washington Heights to Washington D.C. and the White House.
Well, I'll tell you in a real short summary. I was born in Washington Heights, which is sort of the heart of the Dominican community. Raised and educated in New Jersey, just across the river in Bergen County, New Jersey. But in a family that has always celebrated our Dominican culture, our Latino culture, our Black culture, our Afrocentric culture, and understanding that that our blessings are not just ours to keep to ourselves, that it must be shared with the community. That when a community does a lot for you, so you can rise up, it's up to those who are the beneficiaries to come back to the community and say we need to continue to do that. And so I've had an amazing blessing. Started in the mailroom at a Wall Street brokerage firm. I got paid nothing. They only paid for lunch and they only paid for my transportation back and forth. But I told them, I said, if you
Hold on. Did you hear that? Just lunch. Go ahead.
Just lunch and transportation back and forth. And I told him, if I'm not the best mail boy you've ever had in this Wall Street firm, then you can fire me. And of course, it looks like I was one of the best mail people because I went from the mail room to a cubicle, from a cubicle to a mini office, from a mini office to a wall office to a window office to the corner window office. And and that's really how it did. And I think the real moral to the story is the fact that a lot of companies didn't give me the chance, and you never know why, but you can't rule out that someone look at someone like me, a Black Latino, and say, I'm not sure that this person fits that profile. So I said, you give me the opportunity and I'll prove myself. And I was when Forbes came out and ranked me as a #1 Wall Street equity analyst in my field in the country.
Incredible. So what do you talk to when you talk to President Obama? What do you say to President Obama about? What does he talk to you about?
Well, I'll tell you, the times that I've had a chance to, interact with, the president, probably the one that comes, most memorably was when the National Museum of the American Latino Commission presented our report to President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama. And while we were there, we got a chance to just do some chatting, mostly just small talk, and just really thanking the president for his support. And of course, he always expresses his thanks for our contributions and what we're doing, because this is all volunteer. We don't get paid a penny to do what we do this.
And speaking
Not
about
a
the
penny.
president, you sit on a board of Eva Longoria, Emilio Stefan, Andres Lopez, which is a
Lopez.
powerhouse out of Puerto Rico.
Absolutely.
Who else?
Henry Munoz.
Henry
who's the
Munoz.
chairman, and so many great leaders that came together, committed to this historic project. And so this was why we understood that this is an opportunity to make history. And that was part of the message that I was giving here at the GALEO breakfast, is that in order for us to understand where we're going, we have to know our history. You gotta know where you came from to know where you're going. And understanding that history, it gives us that perspective of how far we've come, but what still needs to be done for us to, to truly achieve the level of equality that we are guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States, but has always been given to us.
Well, I'll tell you, you've come, from, like I say, Washington Heights to Washington, D.C., and we're going to see a lot more of our friend Sid Wilson, so keep an eye out for him. My biggest question to you today is, what do you tell that next generation who wants to be the next Sid Wilson or the next Barack Obama or, Jesus, just a little guy like, the little president of Latinos in Information Sciences and Technology?
Whether you want to be the next future Jose Marquez, the next future CEO of Lista, or the next, whether your goal is to become the next president of the United States or the next United States senator, or maybe your goal is to be an ambassador. Maybe your goal is to be the next CEO of a major Fortune 500
How about if your goal is just to get out of college?
Well, I think that certainly is where you have to look and see how do I layer my goal setting, because it's not just about graduating college. It's why you need a college degree. What does a college degree do for you that it won't do without it? And that's the message that we need to share with our youth, that we need more Latinos graduating from college. We need more Latinos that are involved in the civic process. We need more Latinos that are committed to becoming future lawyers, future corporate executives, future astronauts, future scientists, future teachers, future administrators. Whatever your goal is, the message that we need to let our youth know is never let anyone tell you that you cannot achieve that goal because of the color of your skin, by the actions of your accent, or by your religion, or any other artificial reason that has nothing to do with your capacity and your ability to be excellent at what you're doing.
Well, thanks a lot, Sid. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for coming to Atlanta through the storms that he went through just to get here to contribute a little grain of sand to the growth of this great state. Well, thanks a lot, everybody, for giving us this opportunity to be in your household today. Thank you. Okay. Hi, I'm Jose Marquez, and I'm the president of Latinos in Information Sciences and Technology Association. Once again, I'm here with one of the leaders of some of the top leaders in our country that we have here in Georgia, and I'm sitting here with Jerry Gonzalez, the executive director of GALEO. So, Jerry, please tell us a little bit of what happened today here and how this was a powerful breakfast, to have all these leaders come and listen to Sid Wilson and to you, and you're explaining some of the issues that we're having in this state, not only from the immigrational part, but also from the ones who are here legal and how they're limiting our voting. That was interesting, because I wasn't even thinking about, oh, wow, they can stop us from voting or nominating someone of our own.
We're doing a lot of great work here. I think it was a great breakfast celebration of 10 years that we've been in existence. We had a great national speaker. Sid Wilson did a fantastic job of tying it to our history as well. I think we are creating history here in Georgia. Latinos are growing in presence and influence. And it's important to make sure that we can create further avenues of how Latinos can make that impact here in Georgia. And that's part of what we do as GALEO, is to make sure that we can create that presence, we can be respected as a community, and we can make an impact in local elections as well.
Lista has hosted a couple of the Latino leadership workshops and seminars that you put together. Could you talk a little bit more about that, and how do we continue to, what can we do to move the agenda forward, that we're not just giving them the skills that they need, but how do we get them to that next level where that person says, like a Leonard Gomez who said, I'm going to run for city council?
Well, it's very important, number one, to have the skills necessary to serve our community. Leadership skills development is very important, and that's why we provide that basic leadership skills development for our community. We do that on an annual basis. So that is important, ongoing leadership development of our community, is very, very important. But also going that next step and saying, I've done this now. What else can I do for my community? What else can I do for my neighborhood? What else can I do for my city, for my state, for my country? Latinos do need to be thinking about the role that we're going to play today as well as in the future. I mean, 1 out of 3 Americans will be Latino by the year 2050. It's not a matter of when we're going to lead. We are. We need to make sure that we're ready with the right skills. We need to make sure that we have great vision for our community, and we need to make sure that we do have the ability to be able to lead effectively in the future. So the preparation is now for our community to start doing that.
You know, you've been involved from the very beginning of this whole immigration issue. Do you feel that the immigration issue has really helped or made the economic issues that we're having in America due to the fact that the money that was being circulated by the immigration community has been limited or completely eliminated?
Well, I think the economic situation that we have in this country is being felt significantly by the Latino community. Certainly, I think that having anti-immigrant policies in place impacts negatively our economic output. That's why I think the Congress is now looking very seriously at immigration reform. Number one, it's the right thing to do, but number two, it has tremendous economic stimulus potential. I think it's estimated $10 billion over the next 10 years of economic activity. If people have a stable life where they don't fear deportation, they can invest in their communities, they can invest in their jobs, they can invest in their skills, and they can invest in their families. All of that investment generates economic activity in this country, and I think it will do significant economic stimulus. So I think anti-immigrant policies don't work and are a drag on the economy. Immigration reform is an economic stimulus, and I think that that's a positive thing moving forward.
Well, you know, you've had such a great event here. I'd like you to talk a little bit more about some of the people that were here, some of, you know, talk about, we talked with Dax and we talked with Tony, the chair of GALEO. What's next for GALEO?
Well, what's next is ultimately we need to, number one, focus on immigration reform. We need to realize immigration reform this year. We are focused on making sure that the Latino community and other communities speak out on this issue. It is so close, but we have to close the job. We have to do the work necessary to make sure to make it a reality. We need to make the phone calls. We need to visit with our Congress people to make sure that they hear from us and how important it is that we're watching, we're monitoring, and we will remember how this vote goes down. But secondly, we need to get ready for the future as well. There's 200,000 Latinos in Georgia that are legal permanent residents that have the ability to become citizens, have not done so yet. Number one, it's important to protect yourself as an individual. Legal permanent residents can get deported if you commit a felony. No one plans to commit a felony, but when it happens, you can get deported. Number one, protection for yourself, protection for your family. But ultimately, you are here in this country, you are participating, you need to become a more engaged member of this community, and you need to become a citizen at some point, because that's how we will be able to get more engaged. Once you become a citizen, register and vote. The reason we're talking about immigration reform this year is because the Latino vote in 2012. It was powerful, it sent a powerful message, and it was heard, and it's being respected. We need to continue that to make sure that whatever policy needs we have as a community are respected and responded to by the policymakers.
What a difference an election makes, huh?
Truly it does. It
Wow.
truly does.
Well, let me ask you one more question. What would you tell that next generation of elected official, that what do they need to do to make sure that the Latino community continues to move forward on our agendas as well as the rest of the United States?
Well, the future of this country is what we decide we're going to do with how we embrace the Latino community. Let's be very, very clear about that. 1 out of 3 Americans in 2050 will be Latino descent. So what we're doing now and what we're setting in place now will determine the very future of this country. Latino leaders need to look at that and really see in ways that they can contribute to the betterment of this country.
I think we have that ability, we have that capability. We should be making the contributions in a more effective manner as well. So we need to step up and lead. We have a lot of potential in our community that we're not realizing. We need to own that potential and really step up and do the leadership that's necessary right now.
Well, Jerry, thanks a lot for giving us a couple of minutes of your
Thank
time
you.
today. I know how busy you are, so thanks a lot once
Appreciate
again
the
for
time,
your
and
help.
It's been great being with you.
Thank you. Well, there you have it. One of the things that I took away from this conversation was, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So remember that when you go along your life and you're understanding what you need to do, stand up or fall for anything.